Hello and welcome to Ginger Welsh Allotments. I'm Bethan and I'm just outside my greenhouse and I'm about to have a look at the damage that the snow has done. Now it's shining, the sun is out and it's shining bright, but we have only just got rid of the snow. So I want to see what damage has been done. The Ailsa Craig onions seem to have survived very well indeed. But unfortunately my marigolds and my stocks have not done very well, but my teasel is going really strong, so that's good. At least something has survived. My raspberry plants are still here. I haven't got round to planting them in the ground. And can anyone tell me, is this a good sign or not? Should I take this out or leave it grow? Please let me know in the comments below. And I finally got round to putting my propagator in my greenhouse, which is all a bit messy now because there's cables running for the electricity. But I'll just show you inside the propagator. These tomatoes here I grew in January, and I will be the first to hold my hand up and say I planted them way too early because they're very leggy now and they're all beginning to dampen off, as have my aubergines, which I've only got these two left and I don't think much is going to come of them. I've also got some Thai chilies and some Scotch bonnet chilies. Over there are some Roma tomatoes, which I planted last week and they've shot up. And I've got some red peppers on the go. These red peppers are to be grown under cover, under glass essentially, as opposed to my other red peppers, which I shall grow over the allotment outside. And there's some more aubergine seedlings, which I planted the other day, as I suspected my aubergines were going to dampen off. I've now brought the tomatoes and aubergines into the house because I'm going to pot them on. Normally when I pot on, I would have used about this size pot, but because they've got leggy, I want to plant them quite deep into the soil, so I'm using a slightly bigger size pot. Hope I'm doing the right thing. It's only my instinct telling me to pot it slightly deeper, because on the stem of the tomato plant there's little like hairs, essentially. They're not hairs, but they look like hairs, and they will root. So if you ever have leggy tomatoes, the best thing is to plant them in the soil as deep down as the first leaves. So here are the tomato seeds that were in the propagator, and there's the aubergines I was telling you about. Now I will pot this one on, but I think this one might have had it, so I don't think I'll bother potting that one on. But I'll pot this one on just in case it survives. So I'll start with these ones, which are the plum ones. I've got my pots ready. This is a mixture of multi-purpose compost with John Innes #1 and a lot of perlite. And the reason you use perlite is tomatoes love an open soil. Their roots find it easier to burrow through open soil, unlike brassicas, which really like to be in firm soil. So I'm gonna do the same as I normally do, which is prick out the seedling, make a hole in the soil, then delicately pick up the seedling and pop it in as far as it will go into the soil, and then firm it down Try not to touch the stem if you can possibly help it. And then this is a humongous stick, but it's all I've got to hand. Put the stick in, and then I shall tie this to the stick. So I won't show you any more of me pricking out and potting on the seedlings. I'll show you them when I've done them all. But let's head over to the allotment and see what damage has been done over there by the snow. I've just come over to the plot, and there's just something about being outside on the plot that just makes you smile, isn't there? You just can't help it. I'm feeling a bit shonky today because I got a bit of a cold, and I wanted to stay in the house and do my tomatoes, but I'm really glad I've come over here now because I just feel so much better for just getting a little bit of fresh air. So let's go and see if there's any damage on the plot. From the initial inspection, it looks like nothing's fallen over, which is a start. The rhubarb's coming up, as you can see. So that's really encouraging. Well, let's have a look further on. Garlic looks a bit battered and bruised, but I think it's okay under there. Now, how do the broad beans do? Well, they seem to have weathered the storm okay. There's a little bit of yellowing on those leaves, but I think they should recover, fingers crossed. Now there's a rip in this fleece, so I managed to poke the camera through to have a look at the cauliflower, and as far as I can see it's looking good. No sign of, oh there we are, look, sign of a little rotting cauliflower, so that's not great. But hey, it did start to hearten up, which they haven't done yet, but I think I might be ripping these out because I don't think they're going to recover from there. Well, the spring cabbages seem to be coming on well. They don't seem to have suffered too much in the frost, so hopefully we'll have some cabbages soon. And the Swiss chard, well, I actually think it's okay. I think I need to take off some of the rotten bits here, but I think the actual heart of it seems to be alright. That seems to be great. So I'm surprised at that because I was expecting the Swiss chard to have gone to mush. So I'm very happy, very pleased indeed. Just need to take off the dead leaves. Again, the Swiss chard in this bed seems to have flown along. Actually, I think the frost did it some good. And my cabbages, these are the cabbages I transplanted. So I transplanted them about 6 weeks ago to this position, and it doesn't seem to have done them any harm transplanting them. They do seem to be heartening up a bit, which is heartening. Oh. And my spinach is doing well. Time to harvest some more spinach, I think. Still no sign of anything sprouting with the purple sprouting broccoli, although this one has gone purple. So no sprouting, but purple. And my kale is still growing. I was expecting this to sort of, well, be like that little one over there really, but they still seem to be growing and producing, so I'll have to come back with my harvesting truck. And one last thing to check on, see if any bulbs have come up in this tiny little oasis here. Oh look, and I planted some tulips in here in January, and I wasn't sure if anything would come of them because they were in my house for about 10 days after I had them, and they had begun to go a bit mouldy, but there's lots of little buds shooting through, so oh, that's really good. I'm really pleased. I had hoped to get more of this area cleared by now, but the weather just has prevented that. Oh, I'm really pleased that not much has gone wrong and it's all been all right. I haven't done anything over here for about a month now. It must be just because of the weather or childcare or any other thing really. It's just prevented me from getting over here. But now I've been over here and I've sort of like sorted out what I need to do, what my first jobs need to be. So the next free day I have now, I can really get cracking. Oh, I'm really excited to get digging again. So I'll go home now and I'll pot on those tomatoes and I'll show you when I'm done. At last I have finished with the tomatoes. These are the plum tomatoes, which I've had to put some string around to keep them from flopping over. But the Gardener's Delight and the red cherry didn't need string, as when I potted them on, they sunk quite nicely into the ground. So I don't know why the plum tomatoes didn't sink as nicely as the Gardener's Delight and red cherry, but at least they've potted on and hopefully I've got them done in the nick of time. And the Gardener's Delight and the red cherry, most of them had their first true leaves, but the plum variety didn't have any true leaves, so maybe that's why they flopped over as much. That's it from me for today. I'm very happy with how the allotment was looking. I did expect to find my Swiss chard and cabbages basically dead, so I'm really pleased that they have survived. Bit disappointing about the cauliflower, but on the plus side, the cauliflower did start heartening up, so I am beginning to do something right. That is my third attempt at cauliflower. The first one just disappeared. I planted it in the ground and it disappeared. The second lot, I got leaves but no hearts. And now the third lot, I've got hearts, but they've rotted away in the frost. So maybe next time, I'll have a perfect cauliflower and I can eat loads of cauliflower cheese. Yee, yum. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Hopefully my tomatoes will come through good. Otherwise, I might have to sow a couple more just to make sure. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Lovely job. Catch you next time, hopefully.